Well, welcome to SVM Hoopin. I'm Dan Waisner alongside Christopher Heimerman, and this week we are talking about the end of girls basketball season. Last week it came to a close for the Sauk Valley with the Sterling girls playing at the Genoa Kingston sectional. Chris, you and I got to go up Tuesday night?
Yeah, I believe it was. Everything kind of blurs together.
Yeah, Tuesday night for the semifinal, and they probably played one of the better games of the season that night.
They absolutely did, and you know they were opportunistic. Didn't create a whole lot of turnovers, obviously, from Rockford Lutheran, but showed a lot of grit. You know, they were up by double digits. Rockford Lutheran finally connected on some shots after shooting like 20% in the first half, and Sterling had the stick-with-itiveness to absorb that rally and still find a way to win in the end. And very smart basketball. I love limiting the possessions. I'm a Badgers fan. You know I love that. So limiting the possessions in the fourth period, absolutely crucial to pull that one out.
Unfortunately, a different beast showed up on Thursday night for the final. They played Burlington Central. Sterling just could not run their offense that night. Ty Reynolds was up for that game. Sterling had, I believe, 26 turnovers, 25 turnovers. Just could not set up their half-court offense against a taller, a little bit more athletic Burlington Central team.
Yeah, I mean that's exactly what it was. It was a bit of a buzzsaw that they ran into, and we looked at it as a winnable sectional. But then again, we hadn't seen Burlington Central play. You look at the underclassmen, you wonder if they might wilt under the spotlights, and they didn't. They played to their potential. Their coach said it was probably the best they'd played all year. And meanwhile, Ty was very frank in saying that Sterling didn't play anywhere near their best game all year. So that's a recipe to lose by 25 points or whatever it was.
Well, and the bad news for teams in this area is that Burlington Central is not going anywhere.
Yeah.
Their best players are freshmen and sophomores for the next 2 or 3 years. They're probably going to go into that sectional in that area, whether Sterling gets sent there or gets sent. Sometimes they get sent west to the Quad Cities. But teams in this area, you know, that's going to be a tough draw each year trying to get past that team.
It's not an Ackland scenario, is it? Where Sophie Bruner's moving on. You know what I enjoyed about the 3A playoffs is I saw some good things, or I heard some good things, I should say, from Dixon. I think you saw them play some of their best basketball of the season at the most important time. Brooke Bailey was dynamite from what I gathered, and the supporting cast did just enough for them to show pretty well. And Rock Falls taking Sterling to overtime after a very rough season, taking the Twin Cities rival to an extra session. So I think all three of those teams can go into the postseason feeling pretty good about how they showed.
Or come out of the postseason so they go into it.
Yeah. Either way,
well,
it all blurs together.
They'll go into the off season now, hoping to improve for next year. You know,
The
Rock Falls loses Jordan Giddings, Morgan Mamosh are 4-year starters. They did, start kind of mixing in some younger players at the end of the year.
Yeah.
But those are going to be 2 big holes to have to replace. Dixon gets Brooke Bailey for another year, and just like we saw, all this season, it's going to be a matter of what those other players do in terms of developing their games in order to free her up a little bit more for scoring and for other things, and not put so much of the load on her.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the window, I don't want to say the window's closing for Dixon, but I think there's going to be some expectations in Dixon that they haven't seen in a little while in terms of really thriving in Brooke Bailey's final season. So we'll see how that goes.
Well, that's the end of girls basketball season. We're pretty fast.
Yeah? Cha-ching. And away we go, and hopefully... just quickly, you look at the Sterling boys, do you think that there's an outside chance that they can replicate what the girls did? I mean, Trey Whitaker out for the rest of the season. You've got Thornton coming up, but I just don't know if the horses are there.
Well, unlike the girls, the boys haven't been peaking. The girls got better as the season went on, but the boys seem to have kind of started fairly well and then kind of hit a lull, and they haven't been able to get out of that. They draw first team at Mendota tonight.
Yeah. I
mean, I think that's a game they could win, but I also see it as a potential game they could lose. Honestly, I think Dixon has been playing better basketball the last couple of weeks than Sterling. Dixon's a younger team, sort of. I mean, Sterling doesn't have a lot of seniors either, but Dixon's got a team that's developed, and they haven't won a lot of extra games, but they've been in almost every one of them lately.
Lots of great games this week. Use the hashtag on Twitter, SVM Hoopin. Follow us for live updates throughout them. Should be exciting stuff.
We'll see you at the games.